There is a moment when defending yourself feels logical, even necessary. Someone questions you. Someone implies something. Someone pushes just enough to make silence uncomfortable. And in that moment, most people explain. They clarify. They justify. They rush to correct the record. What they do not realize is that this single reflex quietly hands power to the wrong people. Not everyone deserves an explanation, and some people use your defense as leverage. This video is not about ego. It is not about being rude. It is about understanding a psychological truth the Stoics understood deeply. The more you defend yourself to certain people, the less authority you have with them. Not because you are wrong, but because defense changes the frame. It places you beneath the judge. If you have ever walked away from a conversation feeling smaller, even though you spoke well, this is for you. Here is the uncomfortable reality. Defending yourself only makes sense when the other person has legitimate authority over you. A judge, a supervisor acting in good faith, a process that actually matters. But most defenses are not made in those situations. They are made in social power games disguised as conversation. Subtle accusations, loaded questions, raised eyebrows, passive comments followed by silence. These are not requests for clarity. They are tests, and every time you rush to defend yourself, you confirm that the test worked. The Stoics warned about this. Epictetus said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." Defense is often not about truth. It is about discomfort. The discomfort of being misunderstood. The discomfort of being judged. The discomfort of letting someone think the wrong thing about you. But here is what most people miss. The person testing you does not care about the explanation. They care about whether you feel the need to give one. There are people who do not ask questions to understand. They ask to reposition themselves above you. The moment you defend, you accept their framing. You step into their courtroom. You allow them to play judge while you play accused. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "I do what is mine to do. The rest does not disturb me." That is the Stoic posture. Calm action without explanation. Integrity without performance. When you live this way, silence becomes a statement. And to the wrong people, that silence is deeply unsettling. Here are the people you should never defend yourself to. First, people who ask questions but have already decided. You can hear it in the tone. The question is sharp. The pause afterward is expectant. No answer will satisfy them because satisfaction was never the goal. The goal was to see you squirm. When you defend yourself here, you do not change their mind. You simply confirm their control. Second, people who subtly imply guilt without evidence. Interesting choice. That's one way to do it. Are you sure about that? These statements are designed to pull justification out of you. They create a vacuum that most people rush to fill. The Stoic response is not aggression, it is stillness. Let the implication hang. If there is a real issue, it will surface clearly. If not, silence exposes the game. Third, people who benefit from your insecurity. These are the ones who grow taller when you shrink. Colleagues who interrupt more when you explain. Friends who advise you constantly. Family members who question your decisions under the mask of concern. Every defense feeds the dynamic. The more you justify yourself, the more entitled they feel to evaluate you. Seneca warned, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Defending yourself impulsively is not mastery. It is surrender to social pressure. Now, this is where most people get it wrong. They think the answer is confidence. Louder voice, stronger tone, better arguments. But that is not stoicism. That is still reaction. The real discipline is restraint. The inability to tolerate being misunderstood is the root of unnecessary defense. You want to correct the image. You want to fix the narrative. You want to be seen accurately. But authority does not come from managing perceptions. It comes from not being managed by them. Notice how people with real power behave. They do not rush to clarify every misinterpretation. They do not explain themselves to everyone who raises an eyebrow. They allow silence to do the filtering. Those who matter ask directly. Those who do not reveal themselves by testing. When you defend yourself to the wrong person, 3 things happen immediately. First, you validate their position as judge. Second, you communicate that their opinion matters more than it should. Third, you teach them that pressure works on you. And pressure, once proven effective, is always reapplied. Here is a simple example. Someone says, "Why did you do it that way?" You hear accusation. You rush to explain the context, the reasoning, the constraints. But notice what you just accepted, that they were owed justification. A different response would be calm and minimal. That was the right approach. And then you stop. If they have a real concern, they will state it. If they were testing you, the silence ends the test. Stoicism is not about winning arguments. It is about not needing to. About halfway through this video, let me say this clearly. If this way of thinking helps you hold your ground without becoming defensive, if you want to learn how to stay composed when others try to pull you into their frame, consider subscribing. This channel is not about motivation or hype. It is about psychological discipline and quiet authority. And if you have experienced moments where defending yourself only made things worse, leave a like or drop your thoughts in the comments. Others reading them will recognize themselves. Back to the point. There is a difference between explanation and defense. Explanation is offered when requested by someone acting in good faith. Defense is volunteered under pressure. One preserves authority, the other dissolves it. The Stoics believed that your character should speak louder than your words. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, Marcus Aurelius wrote. A person grounded in their actions does not scramble to explain them. They let results accumulate. They let consistency do the talking. People who constantly defend themselves often believe they are being responsible. In reality, they are broadcasting uncertainty. And uncertainty invites correction. It invites oversight. It invites interference. This is why the more you explain, the more people interrupt you. The more you justify, the more they question. Not because they are cruel, but because hierarchy responds automatically to signals. And defense is a signal of low ground. Another trap is defending yourself emotionally. Over-explaining how you felt, why you reacted, what you meant. To the wrong people, this is not vulnerability, it is ammunition. Emotional transparency without boundaries is not strength, it is exposure. Epictetus taught that you should not explain your philosophy, embody it. The same applies here. You do not need to narrate your inner world to people who have not earned access to it. Here is a rule you can apply immediately. If someone did not ask you directly and respectfully for clarification, you probably do not owe it. Silence is not avoidance. It is selection. You will feel discomfort at first. The silence after a provocation will feel heavy. Your mind will race with imagined judgments. This is where most people break. But if you hold that line, something interesting happens. The other person either escalates clearly or retreats. Either way, the fog lifts, and clarity always favors the calm. This is not manipulation, it is self-respect. One of the biggest lies people believe is that defending themselves earns respect. In reality, it earns relief, temporary relief from anxiety, but long-term loss of standing. Respect is not built by convincing everyone. It is built by not collapsing under imagined threats. The Stoics were not passive. They were disciplined. They chose when to speak and accepted the consequences without flinching. That is why their words carried weight. If you take nothing else from this video, remember this. You do not need to defend your character to people committed to misunderstanding you. You do not need to justify your decisions to people who gain from doubting them. And you do not need to explain yourself to people who have done nothing to earn that access. Authority is not asserted, it is preserved. When you stop defending yourself to the wrong people, conversations change, tests disappear, interruptions decrease, and those who matter approach you differently. Not because you demanded respect, but because you stopped leaking it. If this resonated, leave a comment about a moment when staying silent protected your position. Keep it honest, keep it brief. Stoicism is not about control over others. It is about control over yourself. And sometimes the strongest move is to say nothing at all.